once was a wonderful musician who found himself walking all alone through a vast, quiet forest. He thought about this and that until his mind was completely empty. Feeling a bit lonely, he said to himself, "You know, time is passing so slowly out here. I think I'll find myself a good companion." So he took his fiddle from his back and began to play a beautiful melody that echoed through the trees. It wasn't long before a wolf came trotting out of the thicket. "Ah, a wolf is coming," the musician thought. "I can't say I was hoping for a wolf." But the wolf came closer and said with admiration, "Oh, dear musician, you play so beautifully. I would love to learn how to do that." The musician, seeing an opportunity for some fun, replied, "It's quite easy to learn. You just have to do everything I tell you." The wolf eagerly agreed. "Oh, musician, I will obey you just as a student obeys their master." So the musician told the wolf to follow him. They walked a short distance until they came upon a huge old oak tree. It was hollow on the inside and had a large crack running down its middle. "Now listen," said the musician. "If you truly want to learn the fiddle, place your front paws into this crack." The wolf, eager to learn, did exactly as he was told. But as soon as his paws were inside, the musician quickly grabbed a large stone and, with a single sharp blow, wedged it into the crack. The wolf's paws were trapped. He was a prisoner. "Now you just stay there until I come back," said the musician with a grin, and he merrily went on his way, leaving the wolf stuck and howling. After a while, the musician once again felt the silence of the forest creeping in. "Time is starting to drag again," he said to himself. "I think I'll fetch another companion." He lifted his fiddle and played another enchanting tune. Before he knew it, a sly little fox came creeping through the trees toward him. "Ah, a fox this time," the musician mused. "Not exactly what I had in mind." The fox approached, his eyes gleaming. "Oh, dear musician, your music is simply divine. I would give anything to learn to play like that." The musician smiled and said, "It's easily learned. All you have to do is follow my instructions to the letter." The fox, wanting to be as clever with music as he was with everything else, said, "Oh, musician, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. Follow me, then," said the musician. They walked together until they reached a narrow footpath bordered by high bushes on both sides. The musician stopped. He bent a young, springy hazel bush from one side down to the ground and held it in place with his foot. Then, he bent another young tree from the other side. "All right, little fox," he said, "if you want to learn, give me your left front paw." The fox obeyed, and the musician tied its paw securely to the first branch. "Now, little fox," he continued, "give me your right front paw." He tied the right paw to the other branch. After checking that the knots were tight, he stepped back and let go of the branches. Whoosh! The bushes sprang back up, yanking the poor little fox into the air where it dangled, kicking and struggling. "You just wait there until I return," said the musician, and off he went, leaving the fox suspended in the air. He hadn't gone far when he again said to himself, "Time is passing so slowly here in the forest. I need to find another companion." So he took up his fiddle, and its sweet notes once more filled the air. This time, a little hare came hopping towards him. "Oh, a hare," said the musician. "I certainly have no desire for him, But the hare, captivated by the music, hopped right up and said, "Oh, dear musician, your playing is so lovely. Could you teach me how to fiddle?" The musician replied, "It can be learned if you follow my instructions." The little hare, much like the others, promised, "Oh, musician, I will obey you like a good student." They walked on for a bit until they came to a clearing in the woods where a single aspen tree stood. The musician took a long string from his pocket, tied one end around the little hare's neck, and the other end to the tree. "Now, little hare," he instructed, "run 20 times around the tree as fast as you can." The hare obediently began to run. As it circled the tree again and again, the string wrapped itself tightly around the trunk. By the time the hare had completed its 20 laps, it was completely bound to the tree, unable to move even an inch. It could squeak and struggle, but it was hopelessly stuck. "You wait there till I come back," said the musician, and he continued on his journey. Meanwhile, the wolf was having a terrible time. He pulled and he bit. He twisted and he turned, desperately trying to free his paws. After a huge amount of effort, he finally managed to pull them out of the crack in the oak tree. Full of rage and fury, he ran off, vowing to find the musician and teach him a lesson. As he was running, he stumbled upon the fox, still hanging and struggling in the bushes. "Oh, Brother Wolf, look what that wicked musician has done to me," cried the fox. The wolf, seeing his fellow victim, went to the base of the bush, bit the branch in two with his powerful jaws, and set the fox free. They decided to seek their revenge together. As they went on their way, they found the little hare tied fast to the aspen tree. They freed him as well, and now all three of them, angry and united, set off to find the musician. The musician, however, had been busy. He had played his fiddle one more time, and this time his music had attracted a poor woodcutter. The woodcutter was so enchanted by the sound that he immediately stopped his work and, with his axe under his arm, came to listen. The musician was delighted. "At last, I have found the right kind of companion," he exclaimed. "I was looking for a human being, not wild animals." He was so pleased that he started to play for the woodcutter, and he played so beautifully and movingly that the man stood there as if in a trance, his heart filled with joy. Just then, the wolf, the fox, and the hare arrived, their eyes burning with anger. The woodcutter could see they meant trouble. He stood in front of the musician protectively, holding his bright, gleaming axe. The animals were intimidated. They knew the woodcutter and his axe meant business, so they turned and ran back into the forest as fast as they could. The musician, safe and sound, played one more tune for the woodcutter as a thank you. Then, he picked up his fiddle and continued on his journey through the woods, perhaps in search of another adventure. And so ends the tale of the wonderful and very tricky musician. Thanks for tuning into our story today. If you enjoyed this classic fairy tale, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from around the world. See you next time. Again, he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither another companion." So he took his fiddle, and the sound echoed through the forest. Then a little hare came springing towards him. "Why, a hare is coming," said the musician. "I do not want him." "Ah, dear musician," said the hare, how beautifully thou dost fiddle! I too should like to learn that. That is soon learnt, said the musician. Thou hast only to do everything that I bid thee. Oh, musician, replied the little hare, I will obey thee as a scholar obeys his master. They went a part of the way together until they came to an open space in the forest, where stood an aspen tree. The musician tied a long string round the little hare's neck, the other end of which he fastened to the tree. Now briskly, little hare, run 20 times round the tree, cried the musician, and the little hare obeyed. And when it had run round 20 times, it had twisted the string 20 times round the trunk of the tree, and the little hare was caught and let it pull and tug as it liked. It only made the string cut into its tender neck. Wait there till I come back, said the musician, and went onwards. The wolf, in the meantime, had pushed and pulled and bitten at the stone, and had worked so long that he had set his feet at liberty and had drawn them once more out of the cleft. Full of anger and rage, he hurried after the musician and wanted to tear him to pieces. When the fox saw him running, he began to lament, and cried with all his might, Brother Wolf, come to my help. The musician has betrayed me. The wolf drew down the little tree, bit the cord in two, and freed the fox, who went with him to take revenge on the musician. They found the tied-up hare, whom likewise they delivered, and then they all sought the enemy together. The musician had once more played his fiddle as he went on his way, and this time he had been more fortunate. The sound reached the ears of a poor woodcutter, who instantly, whether he would or no, gave up his work and came with his hatchet under his arm to listen to the music. At last comes the right companion, said the musician, for I was seeking a human being, and no wild beast. And he began and played so beautifully and delightfully that the poor man stood there as if bewitched, and his heart leaped with gladness. And as he thus stood, the wolf, the fox, and the hare came up, and he saw well that they had some evil design. So he raised his glittering axe and placed himself before the musician, as if to say, Whoso wishes to touch him, let him beware, for he will have to do with me. Then the beasts were terrified and ran back into the forest. The musician, however, played once more to the man out of gratitude, and then went onwards.